Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back. We're going to be working on a fun relief project today. We're going to be doing a hamburger sculpture. For your supplies, you will need construction paper. Remember all those scraps that I asked you to keep? Today is the day we're going to need them. Scissors, glue, crayons, maybe some markers and coloring pencils, and a pencil for your project. So grab these. This is for 3rd through 5th grade, and we'll get started. All right, here we go. All right, today, guys, we're going to be talking about perspective. Anytime that we do an artwork that comes off of our paper, that's called a relief. So for your project today, you're going to need to choose a contrasting color for your background and also a color to work for your table, okay? So in our picture, we're going to be making a portion of our picture, our tabletop, with a plate, and then we're going to stack our hamburger on it. So I'm probably not going to have any objects in my hamburger that are blue or pink, so I'm going to use pink as my table color. Now I'm lining this up, as you can see. I want about 4 or 5 inches of my paper to be my table. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to be adding a line so I can know about how far I want my table to go into my picture. I'm going to flip it over and make that line. So as I put this on my full sheet of construction paper and I cut it off here at the line, I'll have about this much as my tabletop. So let me do that very quickly. Just a straight cut. All right, and if I fit that right on my paper, that will be my tabletop and this will be my background, just that easy. All right, when you're working on your tabletop, you want to make your tabletop interesting. So I'm going to create a little pattern on my tablecloth or my tabletop so that I pull my viewer's eye into the picture. So I'm just going to do some vertical lines. You could do any kind of lines, wavy lines, zigzag lines, diagonal lines, horizontal lines, and just keep a rhythm going. This is going to be a medium known as collage because we're going to be cutting and gluing and overlapping and filling up our whole page with design. Crazy 3-dimensional design, okay? All right, so this is going to be my tabletop. Notice I'm not going to be gluing anything down on my paper until I have it all arranged the way I want it and have an idea of what I want it to look like. All right, let me grab a color for my plate. I'm going to be thinking about a color I'm not going to be using a lot in my picture. Let's see. Let me try a little red. Okay. And in my picture, I'm going to make my plate red. So in my picture, I'm going to think about doing a plate. Now, normally when we think about a plate, our plate would be round and a full circle. But if you're looking at it from the side, you're going to flip it and it's going to look more like an oval. Okay? So as I'm drawing, I'm going to make my plate an oval. So there's an easy way to do that. Marking the top, marking the bottom, and then your ends are going to come way out on your paper. So I'm going to just draw those in. So I get that perspective. Perspective means that you're seeing things from a different angle, okay? All right, so I have my shape of my plate, and it's going to fit nicely on my table, and I'm going to cut that out. Now, when I start gluing things down, my pencil line side, I'm going to reverse it so I'm not seeing the edge, just in case I didn't follow my line perfectly. But I made some adjustments as I was cutting. That's fun to do that. All right. So there, hold on to my scraps, there is my plate. Now while I've got it like this, I'm going to add a little bit of a border inside. A shadow to make it look more three-dimensional. Grab my red marker. And I'm going to come back in and I'm going to make a little impression on my plate. Just to add a little depth so it looks like it has a ring going on there. Kind of see down into my plate, okay? All right, I may add a little more shadow later. So now I have my table and my background and my plate. All right, let's switch over to our bun because every hamburger needs bun, right? So I don't have brown, so I have to improvise. And we know about being able to improvise. We can do that, that's not a problem. Okay, I'm gonna grab a crayon for this. Grab my brown crayon and I'm going to do a little shadowing. All right, so before I get started, I'm going to actually draw my bun, okay? On my paper, I'm going to decide how wide I want my bun. I want to keep my bun large at the top and smaller on the bottom. So I'm going to bring my curvy line around. And then for my top, I want it nice and tall and full. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to draw a line through the middle where my bun will end on the bottom and start on the top. Now, while I have it all together, I'm going to add a little shadow in here. Now you could unpeel your crayon if you'd like to. You can go over your line if you want to. I just kind of want a golden brown, so I'm just going to add a little darker shadow on the edge. Not being very particular about where I put my shadowing, but I'll put some in there just so it has a little texture, a little shadow. And I'm going to come back with my brown marker and I'm going to add some sesame seeds to the top of my bun just to add a few details. Put those in, sprinkle a few on top. Just a few. A little texture in there. All right. Now, I'm going to cut out my bun. I'm going to leave that little black line on there just for a little definition to help separate some of my colors. Remember to keep all of your scraps. You may need them. This project we're definitely using scrap paper. All right, so now I have my bun. And I'm going to cut across that line there that I made. So I can open it up on my picture. So part of my bun can be on my table and on my plate, and some can be up here in the sky. Now we're going to fill in the things in the middle. Now we're going to be working with 4 types of fringe. Now this is where all your scraps come in. All right, so the first kind of fringe I'm going to pull is going to be just a regular cut fringe. Let's cut off a piece of paper here for that. All right, so just a little square of paper. This could be a scrap. I'm going to fold down my edge of my paper because anytime you're using fringe, you want to make sure you have a place to glue it down. So this is going to be the part I actually cut, and that folded line that I just did is going to be your stop line. You guys know what a stop line is. That's where you stop cutting. So with your fringe, you want to carefully cut away from you and cut up to the stop line. You don't want to go all the way through it. Now this could be like lettuce on your burger. Okay, so that would be like a flat design. All right, maybe let's see, let's do another kind of fringe. Let's do a crinkle fringe. Now this time I know about where I want to stop, so I'm not going to fold this one. I'm going to start making me a stack for all of my different textures that I'm creating. Now this is a flat fringe, but to make it a crumpled fringe, you can just grab some pieces, press them up, just kind of make them like abstract, like that. So now it's different than this one, okay? And I'm just going to start collecting some things. All right, you can also, I want some cheese on my burger. So I'm going to make a long strip from one of my scraps. And instead of doing cutting, I'm going to do a fan fold. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's going to create a different kind of fringe. Maybe I could use this as French fries on my burger, or I could use it as a piece of cheese. Just have fun with it. I'm just going to make a collection of different things that I can use on my burger. How about some orange cheese? Maybe some American cheese. I'm going to fold this up. And I'm just going to keep working and getting some different textures. Okay, that's a third kind of fringe. All right, let's do a spiral fringe. Okay? All right, on a spiral fringe, say maybe you wanted to add onions to your burger. You have a scrap piece of paper. So I would begin by kind of cutting it into a round-ish shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. Save your scraps. And then start cutting in a circle, turning your paper and making it into an onion shape. Look at that. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. That will make a nice onion. I can do some of those. Now when you're working, you're going to be thinking about composition before you start gluing things down. So as you're working today, you're going to make some plans about how your things are going to be placed in your hamburger. And you can have all kinds of things in your hamburger. You can have all these three-dimensional pieces, and you can also have some flat pieces. One of the things I'd like to add to my burger are pickles. Hamburgers with pickles. Here we go. So I'm going to grab my green marker, and I'm going to draw myself some pickles. Put some seeds in there. Big pickles, small pickles, maybe even an olive for my hamburger. That would be nice and colorful. Now remember, if you're having an olive on your hamburger, you're going to need to have a little red pimento in the top. There we go. All right, so I'm making all kinds of things that I can add to my hamburger. So I'm going to cut those out really quick. How about tomatoes? That could be a flat piece. There's an olive. Let me cut out some pickles. There we go. So you're actually making a great collection of interesting shapes and colors that you can put together to create your sculptural piece. Your relief, it's coming off your paper, so it's called a relief. And we're thinking about perspective in our design. All right, now we need a hamburger. All right, so on my paper, I'm going to use a scrap. And just like before, I'm going to draw myself a hamburger in perspective. I'm gonna even add an edge to it down here. Thick hamburger. Now I may want to put a little brown on that hamburger. Maybe some on the edge. Grab my red crayon. Maybe your hamburger has a reddish tone to it also. You could do that. All right, now let's get down to our tomatoes. Now, when you're doing your tomatoes, they can be flat. Cutting out my hamburger. That line didn't show up like I wanted it. So I think what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more detail in here. I think I'm gonna go back and really show people this is my edge. I'm gonna add a little texture in there. Maybe there's just some grill marks on there. Ah, that looks much better. All right, and we need a couple of tomatoes and we'll be good to go. All right, so tomatoes. Let's draw a couple. Remember to draw them in perspective. May want to add some seeds. Take your time and think about what the inside of the tomato may look like. Add a few seeds. Some of these things are going to be overlapping, so a lot of detail's not needed, but you can make it as detailed as you'd like. All right, there's one tomato. Two tomatoes. I think we've got enough pieces and parts now, so we're going to go and start working on our composition. All right, so let's put all of our parts aside. And first we would glue down our base, just a little on the edge, a little glue on the edge. You don't need it all over the piece. Then you can glue down your beautiful plate. It's working with the pink there, it's contrasting with your sandwich. Pull out the bottom of your bun. Make it a fun burger, so I'm going to tilt it a little bit. All right, maybe put in a little lettuce. Maybe I have some red lettuce. Maybe I have some green lettuce. I think I'm going to put in my burger. And maybe some cheese. All right, that looks yummy. Okay, let's put on our tomatoes. Let's nestle some of those back in there. Got some holes back there, you can fill them in. All right, it's time for pickles. Kind of hang some to the sides. Just have fun with it. And when you start to put down your onions, you want to see the spirally parts. So put a little glue at the top, hold it down, oops, hold it down, and then bring over your center. And stick it in a different location. There you go. Makes it come up and pop up off your sandwich. So I'm gonna add this one. Just have fun with your design there. Open up your spirals a little bit. All right, and now we're going to put on our top of our bun. Let's put it right down on there. All right, and last little tidbit there, I'm going to add my olive. Okay, so switch it up, you can see my real dry finished product. There we go. So have fun making your hamburgers, guys. Go back and add a little detail, maybe with some marker. You can go back and add some shadow with marker. Just have fun with it, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.